Stili.
Sure, thanks a lot. Something on Burundi, but I wanted to, it seems inevitable to ask you, there's a big protest in front of the building by Oromo people saying that more than 140 of them have been killed by Ethiopia. So I'd asked you about it on Monday. You said you don't have anything, but you check. What does the UN know, given that it has an office in Addis, about these killings?
Okay, and your question on Burundi?
Sure. On Burundi, I wanted given you read out Mr. Zaid's findings. How does this impact on the deployment of Burundian troops to UN peacekeeping in CAR? And I wanted to ask you about the trip the Council is taking next week. Can you describe how, by who and how the decision was made of which media can cover the trip?
Sure. The numbers of seats attributed to media was very limited. Discussion was had with us and a number of the Security Council members, and a list was drawn up. Not every journalist can go on every trip. I think if you're talking about yourself, you have traveled with the Secretary General before. As I said, not everyone can go on every trip.
The initial one said that journalists are supposed to cover their own costs. So what is the UN plane is from where to where? When you're saying there's a limited number of seats?
There's a UN plane from Addis Ababa to Bujumbura and back to Addis with very limited numbers, which is also limiting the numbers of staff members who can accompany. We wanted to send somebody to help mind the press. We were not able to. We will not able to either. If you make your own way to Bujumbura, we would be happy to assist you on the ground.
How about
on the protests? We're obviously very much aware of the protests. Not only they've gone on outside, but in Ethiopia itself. I think the Secretary General would call on the government and the groups concerned to hold a constructive and peaceful dialogue, and also to ensure that all those who want to protest are able to express themselves freely and free of harassment, as it is their right.
And on just the last final thing, on how this impacts you, you just announced an Ethiopian general heading UNISFA, and obviously Ethiopia is a major troop contributor. How do these two issues, one, what Mr. Zaid calls a crackdown, gang rapes, etc., how does that impact Burundian soldiers serving the UN in CAR?
I think whether it's Burundian soldiers or soldiers from any nationality, as you know, for serving in DPKO, in peacekeeping missions, they go through a screening policy to ensure that the individuals and the units themselves are free of any human rights violations. Matthew?
I'm ready. All right.
Excellent. All right, let's go.
Up over the course
I'm
of the
sure
week.
you did.
I sent them to you, but I'll reiterate them now. The one has to do with and the Washington Post story. I'm sure that you saw that provided more detail about the peacekeeper rapes in Central African Republic. They named and quoted an unnamed UN official that the alleged perpetrators, were from Gabon, France, Morocco, and Burundi. And I wanted to know, since that's so specific, what has been done with the individuals that are accused of buying sex with 13-year-olds for 50 cents?
I think all these allegations are being investigated. Obviously, the countries concerned have also been notified, and as we said, these allegations, among others, are being investigated. The peacekeeping mission on the ground, MINUSCA, led by Parfait Onanga Ayanga, have sent joint teams along with UNICEF and other experts to investigate these cases, especially the ones at the Mpoko in the Mpoko camp. And we're also trying to put in place with local partners preventive measures, including additional patrols in the camp.
But the individuals charged, are they still around
I'm
the
not
camp?
sure
Are they
they're
suspended?
charged.
What's the status?
These are allegations and things we're looking into.
And in terms of charges, there was yesterday one of the individuals arrested in the UN corruption cases involving allegedly John Ash and Eng Lap Seng. Heidi Piao has pled guilty and has said, well, she will cooperate. So this seems to be, as before, you've always said, it's just an allegation. It seems like if somebody pleads guilty and is going to serve time, there's probably something to the allegation. What is the Secretary General? I noticed in his speech about his priorities, there was not a mention of UN reforms or trying to look into this. Does he see this as more serious now?
I think we've always taken these allegations seriously, and I wouldn't want anybody to think otherwise. The audit that he'd ordered by OIOS is ongoing. It should be wrapped up, I believe, at some point next month. I think UNDP is also in the final stage of reviewing their audit. As we've said, we will also be putting forward some recommendations to the President of the General Assembly's office to ensure that there is greater transparency and efficiencies in how both the Secretariat and obviously the PGA's office is run.